Have you ever noticed something others cannot? You walk into a room and sense tension before a word is spoken. You see through the little dramas people cling to, the seriousness they wear like heavy coats, the games they play without knowing they are games. And in that moment, you carry a secret, because you see what others don't. Now, this might feel like a gift, even though it is, but it is also dangerous. For the one who sees through the play becomes an outsider to the players, and that can be a lonely position indeed. The world, you see, is held together by agreements. We agree that money has meaning, that clocks measure something real, that nations exist, that careers and titles matter. But these agreements are not truths. They are conveniences, collective fictions, and what happens when someone pierces the veil, when they see that money is just paper, that time is only in the mind, that success is a costume, suddenly you are no longer hypnotized by the same spell. And this is threatening, not because you are wrong, but because you disturb the game. You laugh while everyone else is still pretending. Imagine children playing a board game. They are deeply invested, arguing over rules, accusing each other of cheating, fighting fiercely to win. Now imagine you, as an adult, watching. You know, it's only cardboard, only plastic. You smile at their seriousness. That is how life looks once you see. You realize that so much of what people fight about is no more real than pieces on a board. But if you tell them this, they won't thank you. They'll say you're spoiling the game. And in a sense, you are. This is the danger of seeing what others don't. Those who see differently are often misunderstood. They are accused of being irresponsible, lazy, even mad. History is full of such people. Mystics who saw the unity of all things. Philosophers who questioned society's gods. Artists who painted what no one else could see. They were often ridiculed or silenced, not because they lacked truth, but because truth is uncomfortable. People prefer their illusions. They cling to them. And when you tear away the mask, they don't thank you, they attack you. So the one who sees must learn caution. Vision is not always welcomed by the blind, but let us be clear. Seeing more deeply is not a curse, it is a liberation. For you no longer take life so seriously. You stop being dragged into petty dramas. You stop chasing shadows. You see that all of it, the striving, the competing, the worrying, is like ripples on the surface of a vast ocean. It comes and goes. And underneath, there is something still, something eternal. The danger is not in the seeing itself, but in how you carry it. If you become bitter, mocking, superior, you will only isolate yourself further. But if you carry it lightly, it becomes wisdom. To see is to play the game knowingly. You don't stop playing. You still eat, work, love, create. But you do it with a twinkle in your eye. You don't clutch at results. You don't treat winning as survival. You know it's theater, and so you can enjoy it more deeply than those who think it real. The wisest are not those who escape the game, but those who can dance in it without being trapped. The real master is not the one who leaves the stage, but the one who can act every role with grace, knowing it's a play. Still, there is a cost. To see what others don't means you carry a kind of solitude. You cannot always explain yourself. If you tell people too much, they will think you strange. If you stay silent, you feel alone. This is why, throughout history, those who awakened sought each other out. The poets found poets. The seekers found seekers. The awake found the awake. And when two who see recognize one another, there is an instant bond, a silent smile, a knowing, because finally you are not alone in the dream. Someone else remembers that it is a dream. But if you cannot find them, what then? Then your task is to carry the vision alone. To live in the world, but not of it. To go to work, yes, but not believe your worth depends on your job. To love, yes, but not confuse love with possession. To succeed, yes, but not identify with the trophy. You may still play every part, but lightly, as one wears a costume. For the danger is not that you see, but that you might become hardened, resentful, superior. The true sage remains playful, gentle, compassionate, even while seeing what others cannot. Now here is the paradox. Those who see what others don't are often rejected at first, but celebrated later. The madman becomes the prophet. The heretic becomes the saint. The ridiculed artist becomes the genius of a new era. Society resists what it isn't ready to see, but later it calls those same visions wisdom. This means your danger today may be your gift tomorrow, but you must survive the in-between, and that requires humility. You are not better than those who do not see. You are simply carrying a torch that burns too brightly for some eyes. So how does one live with such vision? First, patience. Others awaken in their own time. Second, humility. You do not need to be a preacher. You do not need to be right. Third, playfulness. If life is a dream, laugh at it. Dance with it. To see does not mean to withdraw from the world. It means to enjoy it more deeply, because you no longer confuse the play with reality. The danger of seeing what others don't is real, but so is the joy. For when you see clearly, you are free. And freedom is always worth the cost. Consider for a moment what happens when you suddenly awaken in a dream. You look around, and while everyone else takes the dream seriously, you know it is only a dream. You try to tell them, but they laugh at you. They say you are mad, or that you are spoiling the fun. Yet the truth is that your awareness changes nothing in the dream, it only changes you. The dream goes on, but now you see it differently. That is both the gift and the burden of perception. You cannot unknow what you have seen. And here lies the real danger. Not that the world rejects you, but that you might reject the world. For once you see through it, you may be tempted to withdraw entirely, to stand apart and declare yourself superior. This is the trap of the seer, to become the cynic, the preacher, the one who insists everyone else is blind. But that is merely another illusion. To see is not to rise above, but to sink deeper into the mystery. To know the play is a play does not mean you refuse to act. It means you act more freely. Think of the dancer who knows she will die tomorrow. Would she not dance more wildly, more beautifully? Precisely because she knows it cannot last. That is how the awakened one lives. You eat more fully. You love more deeply. You breathe more consciously because you no longer take it for granted. Seeing through the illusions does not make life smaller. It makes it infinitely richer. But others, still asleep, will not understand. They will ask why you laugh when they cry, why you are calm when they panic, and you cannot always explain. You can only live. There is a Taoist saying, those who know do not speak, and those who speak do not know. Why? Because truth is not something that can be forced into words. It is lived. Those who see what others don't often fall into the temptation of explaining, trying to awaken others by argument, by logic, by preaching. But the more you try, the more they resist. Awakening cannot be handed like a gift. It must rise from within, like a seed breaking its shell. So the wise one stops arguing and begins living. Their life becomes the teaching. You see, the universe itself is playful. It hides from itself, disguises itself, forgets itself, so that it may rediscover itself in endless forms. You and I are part of that play. And when you awaken, you realize you were never meant to control it. You were meant to dance with it. But imagine trying to explain a dance to someone who insists on sitting still, measuring steps, judging movements. They will never understand until they stand and move themselves. In the same way, those who do not see will never understand by words alone. They must see for themselves. The danger, then, is not in perception, but in isolation. When you see what others don't, you feel like an island in the sea of unconsciousness. You cannot always share what you know. But remember, the ocean surrounds you still, You are not truly separate. You are simply playing a different note in the same symphony. And if you play it well, if you embody your vision with grace, then slowly, imperceptibly, others will begin to hear. Not because you force them, but because truth has a music of its own, and eventually it cannot be ignored. This is why mystics often laugh. They laugh not because life is trivial, but because it is sacred beyond seriousness. The one who sees realizes that the struggle, the striving, the endless pursuit, it is all like chasing your own shadow. You can never catch it. And yet, if you stop running, you discover it has been with you all along. To see is to stop running, to stand still, to realize that the treasure you sought in the future has always been present here, now. And that realization makes you dangerous not to yourself, but to the illusions of society. So, what should you do if you find yourself seeing differently? First, do not be afraid. You are not alone, even if it feels that way. Many before you have walked this path. Second, do not rush to change others. Let them dream. Let them play. They will awaken when they are ready. Third, hold your vision lightly. Do not grip it as a weapon. Do not turn it into an ideology. For the moment you do, you are asleep again, caught in the illusion of being right. True seeing is flexible, playful, compassionate. It does not cling. Now let me tell you a secret. The danger of seeing is also its greatest gift. For when you see through the masks, through the games, through the illusions, you are left with the simplest, most profound thing, presence. You stop rushing into tomorrow. You stop regretting yesterday. You are here, breathing, watching, alive. And in that stillness, you begin to notice things you never noticed before. The sound of birds, the texture of silence, the beauty of faces, even those lined with worry. Everything shines because you are no longer clouded by the belief that something else matters more. But beware, the ego is cunning. Even after awakening, it may whisper, you are special, you are above them, you see what they don't. And the moment you believe it, you are asleep again. You are trapped in a subtler illusion, that of superiority. This is why true sages never claim to be sages. They laugh at themselves, they stumble, they cry, they make mistakes. And in this, they are more human, not less. To see clearly is not to become perfect, but to become whole. To embrace both the light and the shadow, both wisdom and foolishness, without division. Let me give you an image. Imagine a mirror. The mirror reflects whatever stands before it, ugly or beautiful, joyful or sorrowful. It does not judge, it does not resist, it simply shows. That is the role of the one who sees. To be a mirror, to reflect life as it is, without clinging, without condemning. But here lies the danger. People do not like mirrors. They prefer masks. When you reflect their shadow, they may shatter you, not because you are wrong, but because they cannot yet bear to see themselves. And so you must learn to reflect gently. History is filled with examples. Socrates drank poison because he asked too many questions. Jesus was crucified for showing a kingdom not of this world. Mystics in every age were exiled, imprisoned, or silenced, not for lying, but for telling truths that others were not ready to hear. So if you see, tread softly, not with fear, but with wisdom. The truth cannot be destroyed, but the messenger often can. This is why the awakened often cloak their vision in stories, in parables, in laughter. For the truth slips past defenses more easily when disguised as a tale than when shouted as a fact. So what is the point? You may ask. Why awaken at all if it brings danger, isolation, misunderstanding? Because once you see, you cannot unsee. And because the joy of seeing outweighs the burden. To walk freely, to laugh without reason, to love without clinging, that is worth every misunderstanding. and in time, your presence may inspire others, not because you convince them, but because you embody a way of being they cannot ignore. They may not know why, but they will feel it. Your freedom will be contagious, and slowly the dreamers will stir. In the end, the danger of seeing what others don't is the danger of being alive. For to live is to risk misunderstanding, rejection, even death. But to refuse to see is not to live at all, it is to exist half asleep. Better, I say, to see and stumble than to sleep and dream forever. The universe itself wants to wake through you. It whispers in your intuition, in your laughter, in your tears. Remember who you are, and when you remember, you discover that you were never separate, never lost. You were the dreamer all along. So let us return to where we began. Have you ever noticed something so obvious that others missed it? Have you ever felt like you were awake in a room full of dreamers? If so, know this: you are not broken. You are not cursed. You are not alone. You are simply seeing a little further than most. Carry it gently. Laugh often. Play the game, but do not take it too seriously. And when you feel the weight of isolation, remember, the universe itself is with you. For the one who sees what others don't is the one through whom the universe begins to see itself.